This is Scott the Fix-It Guide. Today we have a dishwasher that won't start, so I'm going through the different settings. I have the door locked tightly, I have it plugged in, but I'm not getting any response, as if it's not getting any power. So what I'm going to do is unplug the garbage disposer and then the dishwasher, and I'm going to put the garbage disposer plug in where the dishwasher was, and I noticed that the garbage disposal starts right up, so I know I have power in the plug that the dishwasher was plugged into, so I know there's energy coming into the dishwasher. So still no response. So what I'll do is take a Phillips head screwdriver and just remove the peripheral screws that hold the two halves of the door together, so I can look in on the door switch and the controls. I got a feeling maybe the door switch is malfunctioning. This model has two switches, and maybe one or both of them is having trouble. So we're just using the Phillips head screw. The ones at the bottom are a little bit shorter than the other screws, so you got to make sure the short ones go on the bottom when you do the reassembly for this model. So we're just zipping them all out. It's good to make sure you have it unplugged at this point. I'm going to remove this little handle here too. Phillips head screw at the bottom. I can get the handle off, then I can separate the two halves of the door. So here's the two halves of the door. This little silver part is the door switch. I can hear it clicking. Get the power turned on here for a test, and I'm pushing in on it as I'm turning the dial. Still no difference, no effect. So I'm going to remove this plate that covers the two door switches, Phillips head screw, pull that off, and then I've got two switches left underneath. One of them seems like the button is pushed in and won't pop back. The lower one seems okay. The upper one, something's wrong with it. So we're going to take that out, and we're going to replace it. To do that, I'll move the bottom one out first. I'm going to use a screwdriver or my finger to pry away on this plastic tab, push it toward the bottom of the dishwasher, and then I'll be able to get the first switch out. And then that'll give me an ability to pry away another piece of plastic tab to get the upper one out. The upper one is the one that seems to be having trouble. And then once I get it out, I'll just remove the two terminals, spade terminals that connect it. I've got it unplugged again, and I'm using a standard head screwdriver to pry off those two spade connectors. One of them, the lower one, seemed pretty corroded. And as I test this switch with my multi-tester, I find that it does not have continuity, so electricity cannot flow through it. That's why it's not starting. So I happen to have another switch, and I'm testing that one. This seems great. Put my meter on it, and then I'll press the button, and I can hear it and see a value change on the display. So I know this switch is good. So now it's just a matter of putting the spade connectors on this new switch, and then just pushing the two switches back into position. It's important I put in the upper one first, and then the lower one last. So it's pretty cool. There's no screws that hold them in. It's just they're held in by friction and these little plastic tabs. So the first one clicked in, second one clicks in, and then I'm going to put the little metal plate back on. It's just held in by one Phillips head screw. Tighten that up. Okay, I put the door lock back through the front plate, and then I'll just put the periphery screws back in. They're just Phillips head screws. Remember that there's two short ones. They're slightly shorter, and they go at the bottom. I'm just making sure everything's lining back up. So there's the little short one that goes in first at the bottom. So this is a HotPoint dishwasher, GE HotPoint, and works really well, cleans really well. It's pretty loud. So checking the different points on the dial, we're getting good response. So that's what
Get all
it
that
was.
water
It
out of
just
there.
wasn't getting
That is
power
so
due
cool,
to a
man.
faulty switch.
Cool. Yeah, man. Some goofy little part like that.
You couldn't even tell why it wasn't popping back up, huh?
Yeah. It seemed like some little tiny spring in there had just come loose. But I guess it's kind of impressive,
So
like
we gotta
how
put
many
that
years
little
those things
plastic
go
piece
before they
back on.
give up. Because it
Just
could be
slide it on.
maybe
And then
10
I'll
years
use
before that
Phillips
thing
head
went out
screw
on
to
us.
Come in from underneath to hold it on.
You're welcome. Let's put it back in.
There we go. Couple more screws to hold on the two halves of the door. Got it back together, everything's working. So thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe when you get a chance.